genocide against them. That they were supposed, you see, in Nigeria, if you read Nigeria history very well, those who went on that campaign of genocide against the Igbos, if you read your history very well, they did this mostly from the position of a vendetta, position of a like institutionalized hatred. Because if it was just about we want this, you can have it, or you can go to hell with it or stuff like that. There was no reason for any sort of killings to start with. But the whole intention was let's destroy them as much as possible. But they're like indestructible. So this were supposed to be the people that should never, ever be found in any part of Nigeria. They can be found in other parts of Africa because they are the most traveled group from Nigeria, the most traveled ethnic group from Nigeria. And wherever you find them, it's always about investment, business, and what have you. The Yorubas don't go that far. We don't. We do travel. We are probably the second most traveled people as well. You'll find us almost everywhere too, but not like the Igbos. So, the political class in Nigeria, especially the Igbo elite themselves, who have always been the people I kind of refer to as the house niggers of Nigeria. Majority of them have, over the years, they have fought and warmed themselves into the hearts of some of these non-Igbos in Nigeria. And some of them have denied their Igbo loyalty, so to say. They love being Igbos, okay? But when it comes to the Igbo marginalization, they are always mute, deaf and dumb as well, intentionally. Some of them have all it takes, right, to give Igbos respect that the Igbos deserve in Nigeria. But they would rather protect whatever Nigeria has managed to kind of allow them to have and keep. I consider them the Igbo elite. I consider them as the set of people that work so hard to make everything, to get to where they are today. But somehow, they still feel like without the benevolence of their Yoruba friends, their Hausa friends, who actually hold the levers of power in Nigeria, they will not be where they are. That's the way I see them. They do not have, with the level of wealth that is ascribed to the Igbo race, the Igbo elite, you will never believe that they will be among those that will be so quiet in the face of so much disrespect, marginalization, against their own tribes, against their own race, inside that contraption. They are friends of all these supposed powerful non-Igbos in Nigeria. And whatever it is, they will be like, just mute and quiet. Yorubas are, when you see the Yoruba elites, right? They are very much loud. And sometimes, right, they are pretty much so entitled as well. They don't even have to be as rich as some of these Igbo elites. But you won't see any Igbo elite, Igbo billionaire, Igbo multimillionaire in any way stand up to some of these bullies from outside the Igbo land. So if you are, for any reason, decided, like Nnamdi Kanu did, to stand up to them, Nnamdi Kanu didn't even actually stand up to these guys in Nigeria. He only kind of, it was like a stopgap between the common Igbos, right? The Igbo elite, and then Nigeria. Which, as much as it earned him so much admiration and respect, it also earned him so much hatred and enmity. Most of this enmity comes from the Igbo elite, who feels like Nnamdi Kanu's action is a threat to what they have managed to secure from Nigeria. Some that, even though they are like these hardworking people, they still feel like Nnamdi Kanu's action threatens what Nigeria has allowed them to own. So they would rather keep quiet or even support his extermination. Let Kenga continue.
Our region. How many of the regions have massive investment in other regions? That means the Igbo man is one that even believes in the sustainability of the Nigerian project. That is why he can invest in a zone or a land where he does not come from. So, but just ordinarily sit down and let's find a solution. Because the root cause is also rooted to these issues of exclusion. Injustice that have spanned for decades. And the more you are alienated, the more you tell the ones that are growing that you are not wanted. And that's why you see the result to all these crises that have brought instability. Now, instead of finding a way to calm nerves and restore it, you go about showing them, I don't care about you. So I'm using this as I'm commending the president for freeing discontinuing the treason charges against those kids. We're also begging him that exercise the same constitutional provision under section 174 thereabout, and let the Attorney General issue a nullity and discontinue the trial of matters. And especially at the time that the judicial system has made conclusive pronouncement at different times, Federal High Court, different court, that this trial has no legal basis. At least in these cases there have been final pronouncement, but you're still fighting and must prove that he's guilty. That means hate. That means you hate the tribe. Because there's judgments of court that have said, release him. The invasion of his house was an attempt to assassinate and kill him. Everybody saw the day the people invaded. There was no cause for that. And the people were beheaded and killed and massacred in tens. And the man ran for his life. And he did not run away or jump there. He invaded somebody's house. Just like the time those murderers from my area, in the name of politics, invaded to attempt to behead me and killed some of my family members. Didn't we flee? At the end of the day, when we were able to survive, are we going to, even if I was on bail, I should keep the head so that they can cut it off like ancient Greece. So the man have to run to survive. And then the extraordinary rendition is unknown to our law. It was a clear case of kidnap and abduction, which the court have also declared as illegal. So I've been issued there's even no trial. So why isn't Nnamdi still in detention? Because he's an Igbo man. That's why you have the same another traditional ruler that is kept in Lagos prison that the Lagos State government is trying. Because he said, if you don't stop attacking our businesses, if you don't stop killing our people, we are going to bring help to defend our place. Instead of you dealing with the hate that your people are projecting there in Lagos, that is leading to killing of our people, burning of our businesses, because we are exercising our constitutional right to either vote or choose leaders. You went after the traditional ruler who spoke in defense of their people, because they're an Igbo person. Other people in that same Lagos, both the traditional ruler has called for genocide against our people. None of them were charged. But he now said that if we don't stop burning this market that Igbo people are trading, if we don't stop throwing us into lagoon, if we don't stop attacking our people, that I will invite the ESN to come and defend the people in Lagos. That's what he said. And then all of a sudden, they dump him in court. They are prosecuting him, and they have dumped him in Kirikiri. That our traditional leader is still in Kirikiri for almost 3 years now or more. They're not ready to prosecute him. Shawolu left him there. Because an Igbo man. So if we want to be one Nigeria, we should be honest and stop being stupid about the lies. In Igbo, they say, when you do this child, the way you're doing this other child, they will be happy. Are you doing us the same? You're not doing us the same way. Do we want to build a country, a nation, or are we running a geographical expression like our world also said? If we want to build a nation, that even though the tongues and religion may differ, but in brotherhood we can still stand, then you have to behave like a family, like a brother. You resolve the Igbo issue. Don't pretend like you don't know it's existing. You will not have stability. Let us see ourselves as one honestly and root it on that principle of justice, equity, and fairness. If you know what if they do to you, not like, why are you doing it to an Igbo person? So it's on that ground that I'm asking the president that is long overdue. It's time to respect those judgments of the court and stop this judicial. The court freed him. You went again. You fight. And it's not necessary. We're looking for peace and stability. 70% of our people today will take Mr. President seriously when he talks about building a nation, uniting our people, bringing us together, making us to believe that he's about to renew hope, which includes justice. You have to renew my faith in the justice system, in the equity system, in the fairness system. That our people, 70% of our people believe that if President wants us to take him serious, he should first of all release Nnamdi Kanu and find a way to go to the table to find a permanent political solution to the challenges facing our people. Then we can take him serious. That's the way our people feel. Any of the Igbo leaders can come to Abuja and be lying to him. Those ones I call outlaws. They can be saying all sorts of nonsense. But down there in our place, they want this issue resolved. So that our people can now pick up what is left of their lives and move on. Our region. How many of the regions have massive investment in other regions?
Are you following this? Good. I have said it before that the problem that Nigeria have is called the Igbo problem. And to make it worse, a lot of you are always living in denial of it. If you have a union, and they said there are 3 largest ethnic groups in this union: the Hausas, the Yorubas, and the Igbos. Then one of the largest group in the union is ganged up against, but they can't complain. They can't talk about it. They are to be seen, never to be heard. An Igbo man, the Igbos cannot fall into the category of those to be seen, never to be heard. A lot of you are alive, and you are still alive today, where it is mostly pronounced. You see, before now, let me say this, right? Before now, the people in charge of Nigeria, they did a very good job in hiding this Igbophobia from a lot of us. It only became more pronounced when APC, Egbekegbe, gained power in Nigeria. It's always been there. It's called Cold War, but it was never this pronounced. So when Nnamdi Kanu started talking about the marginalization, and he kept talking about this hatred against the Igbos, some people were like, they didn't believe it. I'm talking about those who are even Igbos themselves, who have suffered institutional marginalization in Nigeria. They didn't see it as a big deal. Any small thing, an Igbo man will tell you, well, I'm not interested in politics or leadership or anything. An Igbo man is interested in his business. He is only interested in his business. The APC, Egbekegbe came in. They started targeting those businesses. They started making laws or pronouncements that continue to target those businesses. Then an Igbo people started paying attention. Like, this never used to be like this. So they were doing everything. In APC, Egbekegbe, there are Igbos in APC, Egbekegbe. But they have always been put at the back burner. Yeah, they are inconsequential. But before then, apart from being president or anything, the Igbos have been sort of, they've been given a lot of bigger roles in this, what is called the nation building, to the point that it was so difficult to see the marginalization per se. When I say bigger role, right? Responsibilities, this and that. Despite the marginalization of development, like I said, when they are building rail lines or upgrading railways in other part of Nigeria, Igbo land is never considered. When they are building highways, reconstructing highways across Nigeria, Igbo land was never considered. But people didn't really see it then, because those guys back then, they were able to hide it. That when Nnamdi Kanu started pointing out all of this, some of them didn't take him serious. In fact, some of those who later became Nnamdi Kanu's supporters and believers, they never liked him until APC Egbekegbe came. And they themselves started seeing the proper state-sponsored profiling against them, against their businesses. And they're like, oh, this thing actually exists. Oh, Nnamdi has been saying the truth, Sha. We need to rise. Oh, we need to stand up. We need to support him. APC, Egbekegbe, burnt every deception. All the deceits about one Nigeria, they burnt everything down. And it became so clear. Everybody got to see where they belong. But the coping mechanism of the Igbo elite, Igbo politicians, is unimaginable. It's unbelievable. That they would rather just keep quiet. And in fact, some of them would rather milk it by becoming the house nigger for these rogues. Yeah, show them. Our people are troublemakers. It's true. We have been telling our people that they need to respect other people. Your people have been coexisting with everyone before APC Egbekegbe came. But suddenly, you started seeing Igbos agreeing with their own traducers. That it is true. Our people we are very loud. Once we make money, we'll be. What the heck? So we call those ones who are like enabling them. The enabling is an institutionalized racism, institutionalized profiling against their own people. So Nnamdi Kanu they took him to their courts. He defeated them in their courts. He didn't get the support of the Igbo elite, but the Igbo common men and women. When I say I'm talking about like the ones who don't even have any closeness or leverages with political power. You know what I mean? They were able to see through what Nigeria has been doing to them. It became clearer. So what should we do? What can we do? We have to support Nnamdi. We need to bond together. We don't know how far these guys are going to go, but we need ourselves. We need each other. But we need one another. So there is so much division between the normal Igbos in the majority and their elites, the political class, to the point that when the Fulani terrorists invaded Igbo land, kidnapping the Igbos, collecting ransoms, killing them, the Igbo elite, the Igbo politicians, they were offering peace offering to the murderers, to the terrorists. But Nnamdi was like, no, you can't do that. You can't bow your head for these murderers. The more you bow your head, they will chop your head off. But the elite prefer that because it gives them power. They could hold on to power, even if their land is being ravaged. I'm using this because this is the reality. This is the truth. The insecurity in eastern part of Nigeria is politically sponsored. And Nigeria is like, you know what? Continue there. We'll rather just let you finish yourselves. Kind of. Because it serves the purpose. If the Igbos are indestructible, maybe we can just let them do it themselves and destroy themselves that way. the political class sponsoring this violence. In a way, they are happy that Nnamdi Kanu is out of the picture. So the federal government of Nigeria, who has this institutionalized racism against them, it's like, you know what? We can just add petrol to it for you. Let's send more military to that place, militarize the whole place, and continue to harass them, assault them, and possibly continue to make them disappear. The elite actually wanted it anyway. Just give a dog bad name to hang it. So this union is a fraud. The Igbos are not welcome in that union. It is so obvious. And that is why they would rather keep him as a trophy. I've said that many times. They are keeping him as a trophy to satisfy some group of murderers, terrorist sponsor in northern Nigeria. Buhari couldn't try him. He couldn't jail him. They just have to lock him up. But the Igbo billionaires who owns banks, who have shipping lines, who have a pharmaceutical companies, billionaires like that, including their billionaire politicians, oil moguls, they would rather not have anything to do or what have you with him. Because his message, his stand, is going to pit them against Nigeria. And to them, they are likely going to lose everything else they have acquired. So even if their people continue to be in that state-sponsored, bondage, it doesn't matter. Ikenga, finish what you are saying.
Because this issue is causing instability in our place. Farming activities is zero. Businesses are going down. Most people are no longer returning back. So resolving it starts with, okay, political solution, we'll give him bail. Then we'll go to the table and look at the issue. There's issues that led to those agitation. Those issues have been with us since 1960. Democratically, that's now also linked with so much hypocrisy and incompetency and so on and so forth. They were now flashing it in our face like we don't belong. It's not about Nnamdi Kanu. Even if we take out Nnamdi today, the other generation that is coming are also having the same feeling rooted in their heart. You see, have another person rise up. So finding a solution to them, a permanent solution should be the concern of every genuine leader. Because for how long are you going to keep treating people like that and expect them to believe? In this era of technological advancements, social media and everything, information moves so fast. So you don't the way you can hide informations. People have opinions based on your actions. And coming from somebody who has fought the Deco days, democracy, inclusion, and so on and so forth, I'm just surprised that we're still having this conversation 1 year or going to 2 years in office. Just because of Abiola's election that was robbed. They floated the Deco, they fought. Some of them were charged for treason. There was bomb blast that time, remember? Even though there was accusation whether it was Abacha that was throwing the bomb or it was in the Deco people, them Tinubu were throwing it. There were the same transmitter now they kind of was using. Fire meet them and Tinubu, we had their own transmitter, radio Kudra, radio this. They were transmitting into the airways. Because they said they wanted the mandate to be restored. Now these people are asking for justice, equity, and fairness. The same thing. So what to do? The Deco issue and the bill issue was resolved by compensating them with allowing them to run for the presidency by almost all the key stakeholders. Since that time, they have ruled almost 2 times now. But nobody cares about our own people. So how do you think the young people are feeling down there? They feel disconnected. They feel angry. In a country that they are working so hard for. All they are asking is for justice, equity, and fairness. That's what this selective application of democracy, selective application of the justice system, selective application of political opportunities, selective application of the electoral, everything that has to do with the method is different. Even the way you mount roadblock in the East, like is an Afghanistan that America just left from. From just Asaba. You be coming from Abuja, 1 or 2 checkpoints. By the time you get to Asaba, you're trying to cross the river Niger. From that place to where you see 48 checkpoints. What are you doing there? Still, crime is still everywhere. It has turned into a toll collecting point for police or security agencies who are on those roads. Extorting the people, making